I was just in Sicily in my grandparents' town called Forza de Gro, and I like looked out on this like hill and saw like the Ionian Sea and it's just drop dead gorgeous. And I'm like, they saw this and we're like, the Bronx.
Yeah,
we're gonna go. We're gonna go to the Bronx. And
to make our life better.
Right, to make our life better. And it did.
Of course.
To think that you own a restaurant, an author, like you are the American dream for them.
You're going to make me well up over here.
Yeah, let's cry. Let's cry. Let's do all the tears on Cawfee Talk. Cawfee Talk. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cawfee Talk. Hope you had a great weekend, I should say. This is a Monday morning. And I mean, I'm telling you, all the borough paisans I'm bringing into this Cawfee Talk studio in LA, guys, I'm finding them all. I'm sniffing them out. This one sniffed me out actually in West Hollywood. But please welcome to the Cawfee Talk studio, Tara Punzone. Am I saying your name right? Mm-hmm. Or Punzone?
Punzone.
Punzone.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, but she didn't. Let's give me the, because I Americanized mine and say Cannistraci. It's Cannistraci.
I feel like that was the first thing I said to you. I was like, why do you mispronounce your last name?
Why don't you say your own name right? Tara Punzone. Yes, you found me.
I did find you, yes. Yeah. I was a fan of yours for a long time, and you posted that you were in LA, and I don't know what made me leave a comment saying, oh, you're in LA, you should come visit me at Pura Vida, and you were like, okay, I'll be there at 3 o'clock, and I was like, wait, what? Wait, I reread it like 5 times, like, wait, really? Is that really her? Like, I don't understand.
I was like, yeah, oh, sure, you have a right, I want to eat, yeah, let's go, Italian restaurant in LA. With a New York Italian from Brooklyn named Tara, I'll be right over.
And then my whole staff, like after we sat down and chatted for like hours, literally, my whole staff was convinced. They all thought we grew up together.
Oh my God.
They were like, oh my God, how long has it been since you've seen her? I was like, since ever?
Since Instagram. Since that reel she did about Italian American words. And but no, I was so excited because for one, it was a New York Italian reaching out who owns a restaurant, food. But to go into a restaurant in LA and see Broccoli Rob on the menu. Guys, it was a personal moment for me. I was like, oh my God. And the vegan, I'm so open to not different cuisines, but I've vegan restaurants, growing up in New York, you get exposed to so many, different things. And my cousin, who's my best friend, is a vegan for the same reasons you are. And so I had tried all these restaurants and I love the vegan cuisine. But not like when I got to your restaurant, I was like, oh, she took it to another level. And which was really cool for me to see and then cool for me to recommend because now I have friends that come here who are vegan. My husband did not go with another woman there. My friend.
I'll be on alert.
We would have taken him in the kitchen. Only one. Tara would have walked in the kitchen when only one of them were coming out. But, my friend Mario always goes out to eat with his wife, and she's a vegan, and you're really limited with what you can eat if you're going out with someone else. Because, even if you wanted eggplant parmesan, it still has the cheese. So what he loved about it, and if you go to a vegan restaurant, and somebody's like, I don't want this, like the other person who doesn't eat that way doesn't want the food. What you have in your restaurant is it's really for everybody. Yeah,
the idea or my goal, I guess, was to just create a really amazing Southern Italian focused restaurant here in LA because that was lacking. That happens to be vegan. That's like the side note. I'm vegan, so everything is vegan, but I don't even put that word on the menu. I'm trying not to put that in your face. It comes with a lot of baggage. I am aware of that. I'm not trying to push it in people's faces. I just want for them to experience the Italian food first and then understand that it's vegan and not make the judgments that come along with that. So.
And you had the first Italian.
The first 100% vegan Italian restaurant and wine bar in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. Just breaking that glass ceiling. And so just so people so you grew up Brooklyn.
Brooklyn and Long Island.
That's the
Yeah.
It's so funny, the progression. Everybody who comes in here from Brooklyn or Queens says they went to Long Island. Everyone from the Bronx says they went to Westchester, Harlem. It's so funny. Just okay.
Yeah, so we lived in East Flatbush, which once I was at the age to go to school was, I guess, not the greatest neighborhood for schools. So my parents, we moved to Oyster Bay, Long Island, and but we were always in the city because all my family and all their friends and everything were in the city. So I still always felt very connected to Brooklyn and moved back the minute I graduated high school. So, but when you go to school in Long Island, you can't really you can't not mention that you're from Long Island.
Right. Do you hear her accent? Because I don't know if I hear it. Because
I hear it. And my question is, how can you live in Oyster Bay being a vegan?
Well, I lived with my mother and father who cooked for me. So I was very spoiled.
No, but I mean the name of the city.
Oyster Bay.
Is there a vegan
There are
option?
oysters everywhere. That is true. But
So I read up the history. So first of all, you have a cookbook that came out, which we are going to talk about. And I learned, first of all, I loved everything from the book to the packaging. Can I just imagine seeing this in the
hilarious.
mail? How the marketing on this is genius. Anybody would be excited to open this. Now people are literally learning about it. The mailman knows about it. And anybody in the office that knows about it. And it looks delicious. It's just beautiful.
I thought you brought pizza in
the
here.
packaging makes you hungry.
It does. I want ravioli. But you had experience in school, so you never knew anything about being vegan or vegetarian. You loved animals.
I loved animals a lot, and I was very annoying as a kid because I'm still annoying sometimes.
Who's not? What kid is
But I was
annoying?
one of those. I would there would be a spread of meats on the table, and I would pick up a cold cut and hold it up to the light and be like, how can you eat this? You can see the veins in it. And my mother would be like, stop it. Don't do that. That's so rude,
right.
And I was so grossed out by those types of things. But I never made the connection. Yeah,
Okay,
I was a little kid. I was just grossed out by things. I was grossed out by stuff that was on a bone because I'd be like, ew, that's so weird. You're sucking on a bone. That was inside somebody's body.
Right.
But again, you don't make the connection to the fact that they're killing this animal so that you can, eat a sandwich.
It's called almost like anything in life when you have that inclination that you're meant for something or you're drawn to something. So you were just drawn to a different mindset, especially from where we come from, where it's
oh, totally. Yeah. But then I learned later on that that's not necessarily true, and I was very happy to learn that. But what happened was we had a teacher in class that showed the class a video of a slaughterhouse. I was mind blown. Really crying. I went to the bathroom and cried by myself like a weirdo. I don't think anybody else even was paying attention to it. It didn't affect anybody else in the way that it affected me. And I threw my lunch, because of course I wasn't allowed to eat school lunches. My mom made me lunch every day, very spoiled. And I threw my lunch away that day. And when I went home, I sat my parents down at the kitchen table.
Wait, I was gonna be my biggest question to you was how did you come out to your parents,
that's
to your New York Italian parents, that you were a vegan?
Well, I wasn't vegan yet. It was just eliminating meat at that point because I still didn't really understand the scope of the whole situation. But yeah, I just sat them down and I was like, I saw this video and it made me really upset. And it really affected me on a level that I wasn't going to get over it. I just did not want to participate in this thing that I had learned happens regularly. And so they were kind of perplexed. They,
Right.
But I have
Or also maybe thinking your kid's going through a phase.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sure they were okay, let's deal with this for a couple of weeks and then it'll fall off and we'll all move on with our lives. But that didn't happen. So
now you weren't thinking of becoming a chef. You weren't. That wasn't. Cooking is it's in our DNA.
yeah.
Literally, I grew up in a kitchen.
Oh,
Whether
me
it was
too,
my
yeah.
great grandmother's kitchen. In fact, my mom and I were just talking, and she said we were telling a story about how they called my mother from my preschool, and they were like, "She's great. She gets, all the kids love her. She's so positive." But when she plays recess, she doesn't speak English. And my mother was like, she only speaks English. And it's because they had a kitchen set in there. And I grew up, I went from my great-grandmother's house to preschool. And I would just go in the kitchen and be like, pasta badana, skula basi, where to put the... And they were like, we have no idea what this kid is saying. She's asking for a mapina in the like...
That's amazing.
Playtime during pre-K. So I grew up in a kitchen. You grew up...
I also grew up in the kitchen. Being a chef was not something that I specifically thought about, especially not at that early of an age. However, my grandmother and grandfather owned a hero shop in Brooklyn.
Hero shop.
Hero, yes.
If you're listening and you're not from New York, you may call that a sub or a hoagie or a grinder.
Or a po' boy.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're talking about heroes.
No, it's a hero.
It's
a
a
very
hero.
specific thing.
Okay.
The shop was called Punzone's Heroes. And he was famous in the neighborhood, absolutely, like, had to hire security. It was so famous. And he changed the whole neighborhood through his food, and that wasn't even his intention. It was just like a small grocery store when he first started.
So they came from Italy? Mm-hmm. So the grocery store, I assume, is because you go to an area where there are a lot of other Italians and you want to get access to as much as you
Exactly. It was like a corner store with Italian ingredients and
Yes.
stuff like that. But where it was in Brooklyn, it was located in an area where there was like a sanitation department on that block and also a hospital down the street.
Oh, people need to eat lunch. They're on the go.
Like the story that I heard, because I don't remember this, but the story that I heard was based, I mean, this was probably before I could even remember, was that one of the guys from the sanitation department came in and my grandfather just made him a sandwich. Just made him a hero, like, because he was probably making food for himself or for the, for the family, because there was like a little table in the back where they all ate. And then, he gave him this sandwich and leaves, and he comes back the next day with like 5 guys, and then comes back the next day with 20 guys. And then it just became like a craziness, like, 'cause it was like insane. It was like a phenomenon. So he like changed the neighborhood through food in a positive way. And as a kid, first of all, my grandparents were like, I mean, you can't, how lucky are we to have like the most amazing families that are just so overly loving and like it extended even further outside of the immediate family into the community. And I thought that he was the coolest person ever. I just wanted to be just like him so badly. So
that's what cool is. Like, if you're listening to this, that's the cool kid right there.
Yeah, so I said to my dad, like, I'm going to have a restaurant one day. And my dad was like, oh, Lord, please don't do that. Whatever, just do anything else but that.
Because of how consuming it is or how hard the business is. Yeah.
They just worked, 17, 18-hour days, and they never traveled and they never did anything. It was just family and work. And maybe not a lot of time for family. I think that's why my dad was kind of like, please, just don't do that. Like, it seems wonderful, but it's really hard. And I listened to him. I went to art school. I got a master's degree. I had a whole nother career, but I was never like...
Was that in photography?
Yeah, but I was never fulfilled. I never felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I had to make the switch.
Where did you go for school?
I went to the School of Visual Arts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And
you studied photography?
I studied photography, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, back when it was actually film, and I spent literally spent probably 8-9 years like predominantly in a dark room with my fingers.
Where'd you go to undergrad?
I went to undergrad at SVA.
Oh, SVA.
Yeah.
Cool.
So hands in chemicals and like all night long. And then everything went digital too. So that also was like, I like the dark room part. I like the chemical part. I'm not a computer person, so it also just like lost me a little.
I'm lucky I can watch this episode online. Yeah.
We're so similar.
Yeah. I'm like, So I read in the book that you were like doing photography for weddings.
Oh my God, it was a nightmare.
A nightmare.
I didn't intend to do photography for weddings. I wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
And I had, gallery shows, and it was a lot of fun, and you sell your pieces and it's great, but that doesn't pay your rent regularly.
Right.
So I needed to get a job where I was like making regular money. And the most convenient job to get was, you make a lot of money shooting weddings, but you could also just shoot yourself in the head because it would be like more fun.
Yeah.
I
Some of the
think.
things I have to do for money in comedy is like, I don't want to do this, but I have to pay my bills so
Yeah.
that I can do the fun stuff.
Yeah, but I couldn't handle it. I mean, I would like rather be like a garbage man. Like it was just horrible. Not
Right.
just don't. This is my PSA. Don't do things that you don't enjoy doing for a living. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's going to have a job that's their absolute passion. Like we're not all that lucky, but don't do something that you hate
Right.
because it's really soul crushing, you know? And so I realized I went to this restaurant. So I don't know if you read the Howard Stern story, but
Tell it.
I'm a big Howard Stern fan, and I've been listening to him since I'm like 11 years old. And he one day was just talking about this restaurant that he went to in the city called Pure Food and Wine, which is no longer open, unfortunately. And he went on and on and on and on about this restaurant for like 45 minutes of his couple-hour show. And so I was like, wow, how have I never been to this restaurant? I need to get on that. So I went.
I love this story because it's kind of like the text messages, like a recurring lesson here in your life. Continue.
It is just to like...
You show
just
up.
put yourself out there.
Yep,
and
you just
then-
showed up.
Yeah, so I went to the restaurant. I was sitting at the bar. It was packed. There was a billion people in there. Everybody was
I'm
gorgeous.
sure
It was
Stern's
ridiculous.
recommendation helped.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. And I asked the manager, who happened to be talking to me anyway. I asked him like, "Hey, what kind of credentials do you have to work in a kitchen like this?" And he was like, "I don't know. Let me take you in the back to meet chef." And I'm like, it's a Saturday night. Like, I don't think you should take me into the back. I mean, I already knew that was like a
Right.
faux pas. Like, you know,
Right.
but he did. And it was nuts back there. And I felt so weird. And chef was the nicest, most wonderful person ever. And he was like, talk to me for a little bit. And he was like, why don't you come back, whatever it was, on Tuesday. And this way we can talk. You can do a stage. We can see what kind of, you know, whatever. And I was like, great, I'll do that. And so I went back on Tuesday and talked to him for a couple.
After one day.
After like a 5-minute conversation. And then, I mean, he hired me that night. So
I mean, just like right there. Like I read that in the book, and it kind of goes back to that, like, just show up. And Chazz has told me that for years, and it's like this recurring, like, you have to show up. You just have to show up. And it's like, you just showed up.
you have to show up and you have to take the chance of being uncomfortable for a minute because it's uncomfortable. I didn't know what I was doing.
You knew.
Literally did not know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted so badly to be in that environment. It felt like even just sitting at the bar of that restaurant, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm like at home right now. And I had never been there before, so it makes no sense whatsoever. But there was just something about it, and it was just like,
Good for your nervous system. Like I feel like I'm where I belong. That's
yeah. And I had never worked in a commercial kitchen before, ever in my life. I had done some like private cooking stuff, like in people's homes, but not in a professional kitchen, beautiful big kitchen. And so I was scared because I was like, I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to make stupid mistakes. Everybody there is like very professional with their chef whites on and their knife bag. And I was like, I gotta buy a knife. I gotta get it together, you know? But who cares? Like, it was just like this monumental moment that completely changed my life.
from showing up.
And Chef Neil was...
And asking a question. That's like probably the scariest part of it. Like you can go to a restaurant on a recommendation to say, hey, what do I need? You're already showing like you're being vulnerable. You're
Right.
already showing like I'm not coming from a place of knowing or being informed. And like now I'm asking.
Yeah. Oh, I was so vulnerable. But you have to. I mean,
Right.
you just have to. But I also just got really lucky because a lot of chefs do have large egos and are not as welcoming and warm as this particular person was.
That's
So-
like, to me, it's like you have this like hot spot, right? You've just been blown up on one of the biggest platforms ever. It's a Saturday night, and here you are talking to somebody who's like, what do I need to work here?
Yeah. And he's like...
And he took the time,
He took-
invited you back.
and very very sweetly, very warmly invited me back. Not like, get out of here, kid. Like, you know.
Yeah, see you on a Tuesday. yeah. But you got yourself that job because you got to showcase yourself that Tuesday. And it's just about you know enough to know someone's temperament at that point. You know enough to know somebody's commitment. They showed back up. And it's like, if you're experienced enough, it's like you know who you want to work with or who you can work with or who you can help. It's like now if I see a young comic, I go, oh, I really like what you're doing. Why don't you come on my show? Or why don't you do this? Or,
Yeah.
because you like, oh, I could see it.
Right.
It's you had it
And
in
it's
you.
life-changing.
Yeah.
When people
So how long
are
did
open to
you
that.
worked there?
I worked there for over 5 years. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Stern? Did you ever get to tell Howard Stern the story?
No. I met everyone else on the
Stern
Stern
he's still
show.
alive.
I mean, like,
could happen.
Robin used to come to the restaurant all the time. I used to, like, we were, like, friends. We were going to go skydiving together. I have so many
The
stories
pure
with her.
so he never walked in there when you
He
were
never walked in there while I was there. Robin and the rest of the show, but never Howard ever again.
there. Did Artie
so.
Lang ever come in?
Artie with his sister I was like friends with his
Stacey,
sister. Yeah, you know
yes.
Stacey? I haven't seen her in so long.
Me
it's
neither.
been a million years.
I mean, it's been I got to open for him for a stretch.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, and it was hard.
Yeah.
You know, because I always said if Artie Lang was half as nice to himself as he was to everyone else, because he
100%.
was a gem of a human being.
Yeah.
I and I only got to meet Stacey a few times, but she knew at my core that I wasn't out, like I wasn't an opportunist. Like I didn't even want to open for him because he would sell out, and it was amazing because I'd look like a rock star when he couldn't really go on stage and perform because he wasn't in his right frame of mind. But I felt like so bad and guilty about taking the opportunity to watch somebody at their demise, and so she kind of caught on to how I wasn't involved in it. I wasn't one of the comics handing him medication or things like that for spots. And it was medication. Medication. But that's a story for another podcast. But so yeah, everybody came in.
Everybody but Howard. I still never got to meet Howard. I was even in the green room, and I think Howard referred to me as the hot girl in the green room, which like some sort of.
Were you in the green room for what show?
Stern. So I used to be, I would like made friends with some of the guys on the show, and one of them.
Jackie Martling?
No, his name was Steve.
Okay.
He's like banned from the show now. But
I think Jackie is too. I used to open for Jackie.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm throwing out names here, but okay.
But I was at Jackie Martling's house several times because he lived in the next town over from Oyster, which is Bayville.
I think they shot a TV show at Jackie's house too, like a famous one, the one with the affair. The Affair, I think it's called.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But he was hilarious.
Jackie.
That dude was like, I mean, I don't know why whatever. We make weird decisions. Sometimes it backfires, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't probably not a good decision for him. But
I think in this business, you feel like you've worked so hard to get to a certain place, or you've made enough of a name for yourself that you ask for things that aren't, or you're going to be limited by. And yeah, that was a hard out for him.
Yeah. And I'm sure Howard is not the easiest person to work for. I'm sure that it's not all fun and games like it sounds like when you're listening.
Oh yeah, it sounds like a party.
Oh my God.
It sounds like you're, it's all love.
I want to be there so bad.
Yeah.
I still listen every day, by the way. I was
Do you?
listening on my way here today.
Okay, yeah. Howard, we need you
I
to.
know,
Does he ever
Howard.
come out to LA?
I know he doesn't love to fly or to travel, but one of his daughters lives in California, but I don't think in LA.
Oh.
So I'm not sure, but I'm sure
Yeah.
he comes sometimes. I don't know.
I mean, literally
Rarely, though.
listening to that podcast changed your life.
Oh, totally. Oh my God, don't call Howard Stern a podcast. You
Oh
just,
no, sorry.
You just pissed him off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not even gonna cut that. I'm not even gonna cut that. Sorry, I'm gonna leave that in for all of you to point fingers at me. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm in the frame of mind, but no, listening to the Stern Show literally changed your life.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even just that way. Like a lot of things
What's another way?
about his show was like, it's so, to me, it's so telling. Like when a person, for example, and I tap into it in the book, but I could write a whole book just about this. It's like, he is the least likely person to have become who he became. Mm-hmm. And I find that very inspirational. Same thing with Robin. It's like these people were not meant to be doing that, but they were totally meant to be doing that.
Right.
But like, he's not the guy that's like going to be, a famous Like you don't, when you look at him, you're like, how did he got made fun of his whole life. He got beaten up all the time. He was like that guy, that kid, you know? And I think that he took that and like put his heels in the earth and just like used that energy to like project him into an amazing place, you know? And I think that that's really inspirational.
Completely. And it's why when I do coffee talks, a lot of times I want to hear the come up. I want to hear how people got across. How'd you get into this chair? Whether it's when you were 12 or, you know, so much of our lives are dictated by like societal norms. I think like, well, I came from this, so I'll just do this. Or I had this type of life, or my life was as hard as, you know, maybe Howard Stern or anybody's has a hard life, so I'm just gonna fall back. And so it takes a lot. So when people overcome things, and it happens at different points of our lives. Like I talk about it all the time. It's like if you're in this situation where you go, this isn't the life I've imagined for myself. You know, what does it take? Who could do it? I need to pull inspiration from anyone. I will look up stories or you know, I want to watch a documentary on how somebody came to be, because it's like, I don't know anybody who had this perfect lifestyle, perfect scenario that just led them into like their destiny.
Yeah.
Let's get into the book because I loved it. So wait, this is your life's
Vegana,
work.
Italiana.
Yes. Hold on, I want to show everybody how great. Oh my God, how beautiful.
Ah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book, and there's pictures inside. What I love about it is it's personal.
It's very personal.
And
I was nervous.
You know, you're telling stories, you're showing pictures, you're also like, you know, I can get intimidated, and I'm a cook. I said I grew up in a kitchen. I can get intimidated when it comes to like big recipes or things like that. But you even break down like what's in my pantry, what this should look like, what I have, what are your essential items. So it's like people have the groundwork.
Yeah. And I tried to keep, so it was the hardest part of doing anything for me, what I struggle with is editing, because I could just have a menu that's a scroll, you know. Because I could just keep going. There's so many things I want to make, and I want you to have all of it, you know? So I had to really edit in this book. My main thing that I realized is that I wanted it to be approachable. I want it to be recipes that regular people can make. You do not have to have a culinary degree to make baked ziti.
Right.
Right? So, like, I kept everything simple. I'm not putting you on a wild goose chase to go find, you know, fresh truffles and all kinds of ingredients that are difficult to find or super expensive. So I eliminated all those, recipes that I do have in the restaurant that are just complicated. And I kept it to the basics, basically, so that, you know, people can really cook for their family and carry on this tradition.
So I'll talk about it, because the first thing I think about when I think vegan is cheese. And what
that is the most difficult part. Yes,
that is that would be the most difficult part for me. But like a picture you don't think you're gonna see in a vegan cookbook is, you know, a caprese, a mozzarella caprese, and it's here, made from, I'm gonna guess, cashew. I think
yeah, cashew mozzarella. So in the beginning of the book, there's a section called the basics. And all of the cheeses and all of the things that get carried out in many other recipes throughout the book are in the beginning section of the basics. So that's where you should start. Once you nail those things, the rest of it is easy. That's just, those are the challenging ones.
Yeah.
Is the carbonara in there?
It's not, because I would like to keep the restaurant open. So
I
know I got like hate mail.
Wait, will you give it to me off camera?
No.
So it's
Top
so
secrets.
funny, because I've been talking about, I've mentioned Tara Punzone is coming on the podcast. I've mentioned Pura Vita. Am I saying it right? On the podcast, I've said it to you guys that she's coming in. I've talked about going there, and then today, for whatever moment, I'm in studio. I have Adam Ferrara here. We're talking. I mentioned the restaurant name again, and Keita jumps out of his seat, and he's like, "She's gonna be here." I'm like, "What are you? I've told you this. I even texted you her name. Like, I'm like, what are you?" And he was like fanboying.
Oh my God.
Over
I
the
love
food
a fanboy.
there.
Thank you.
Don't shame me for my ADHD.
I
and dyslexia,
mean, I've
okay?
said the name on the which goes to show you
amazing.
he only listens to what he wants to hear.
I know.
Okay, so all these things he's chiming in on is
Well,
what he
if I
chooses to
listen to
hear.
every-
Men have
Everything you
selective
told
hearing,
me-
don't they?
If
Yeah.
I listen to everything that comes out of your mouth, I'd never get out of the studio.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure. I'd
live here.
Sure. But no. So the cookbook was a choice.
Yeah, so I mean, I never had like this crazy burning desire to write a book or anything. Although my mother, my whole life, always told me I was going to, and I'm like, about what? I don't, I mean, I've done a lot of crazy things, but a book, who cares? Who cares enough to read my story, But then when I opened the restaurant, everybody's like, "Do you have a book? Do you have a book? Do you have a book? Do you have a book?" For the last, 7 years, "Do you have a book?" And I'm like, "Why would I have a book? You didn't know who I was last month, So it occurred to me that was definitely something that needed to be done. But at one point, I had 3 restaurants, and writing a book was just like not possible. It takes a lot of time, and I've never done it before, so I had no idea like what the hell how to even start. But I found this man named Gene Stone, who's a very experienced writer, and he only writes vegan books. He also happens to live 3 blocks away from the restaurant. And
Well,
I got
it's like if you're not going to write the book's going to come to you.
I mean, I got a list of, because I really didn't know how to like just start the process. So
Starting is the hardest part.
it
in
is
anything.
the first step. So somebody sent me a list of authors that I could reach out to that might be interested in being a ghostwriter or a co-writer or whatever. And I called all of them, and they were all lovely. But when I called Gene, he was like, "Yeah, I know Pura Vita. I eat there all the time. I live 3 blocks away." And I was like, "Oh." So he was like, "Okay, I'll come and meet you." Kind of very like not overly enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Later, he told me that he had no intention of helping me write this book because he had been coming to the restaurant. He knew that the chef, who he had never met, me, was a woman. In his mind, an Italian woman from Brooklyn who's a chef. He thought I was going to be a monster.
I feel
And he tells
personally,
everybody the story.
I feel personally attacked here in this story, Gene. I am from the Bronx, and I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
But then he came and met me, and
What
like,
does that mean?
he just thought that I was going to be very difficult to deal with, like a real, kind of,
Difficult? Never a word I would use to
Stereotypical.
describe a New York Italian.
But I'm not difficult. That's the thing. I mean, I don't fit that stereotype. I'm like, I mean, don't piss me off, but like it takes a
Right.
lot to get me there. You know what I mean? And we immediately got along great. And he then told me that story because he then realized he was wrong to have made that judgment.
Not
and-
all stereotypes are true.
Yeah.
I mean, for the majority of
That's
them.
wild that he even admitted that.
I know.
love
Well,
it.
I actually thought
Yeah.
it made me like him even more because then I was like, okay, let's have this like open, honest thing because then I'll be able to tell my stories in a more honest way. And, and without him, honestly, I would still be trying to write this book. There's no way I would have ever gotten to the end of it because
Well, I love it. It's like a love story. It's a tribute. It's a tribute to where you come from. It's a tribute to your parents and how wonderfully you speak about them. They come to the restaurant on Sunday. So Sunday dinner still exists.
yes,
It's just
we got to keep it
vegan.
going.
Your parents, you have come so far from that 12-year-old girl.
They're
You're-
very proud, and it honestly, I mean, we could get into the deep reasons why, but I wanted so badly to just make them happy in their life because there was a lot of moments in their life where happiness was a struggle. So, as an unplanned child, who came along very late in the game.
Yeah. There was the age difference, right? You have a brother?
My brother's 13 years older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be a downer. I mean, I
No,
can tell. So
you can-
the reason why, basically,
It's coffee.
my
It's real talk.
my parents had 2 boys. They had my brother Paul and my other brother Peter. And it sounds like a Bible lesson, but
right. I was had to rob Peter to pay Paul. We have all these sayings we say.
and my brother Peter died when he was 3 years old. So my parents were like obviously devastated. It changed their lives in a drastically horrific way. And they had no intentions of having any more children, even though they wanted this big family. And it just destroyed them. It
Yeah, as it does.
Just put their light right out. And then like, you know, whatever, 10 years later, whatever it was.
Surprise.
Yeah, I was like, I'm coming. I'm coming out. And I was like, I can't curse on this, right?
Yeah.
I always call myself an oh shit baby because I think literally they were like, what are we going to do? Like they were so afraid to have an experience like that again.
Right.
Once I learned that as a kid, because obviously when I was super little, I didn't know that. But once
Was there certain? Do you feel like they were neurotic? Like they were a little neurotic with you as early on? Because my mother was extremely neurotic with me because I was the only, in ways that it impacted me later in life.
Yeah, totally. Like I don't know if it's possible to be like overloved,
Right?
but like there were moments where I had to be like, okay,
Right. Stop loving me
back
so
up
much.
for a second.
Right.
Just give me a minute to breathe, you know? And I would never complain about that because what that turned into was a lot of my friends that I grew up with like had broken families, drug issues, whatever their story was, and they didn't have a comfortable home to go to like after school or whatever. And all of those people came to my house. My parents took them in like they were their own kids and fed them, and you know, we played music all the time, and it was like a whole thing. And so thankfully that intense love and need to care for you was sort of spread out amongst my friends. So it took all the pressure off of me.
You had to take some adopted siblings in, yeah.
But I mean, my parents are just like that amazing. I can't.
Isn't that like the common theme though in your family? Like your grandfather gave a guy a sandwich and then it became the place that everybody came to eat. And then like your parents did it with you and now you're doing it with the restaurant. It's like your father didn't want you to have the restaurant, but it's like it was your destiny.
Yeah, definitely. It's so natural. Like it's just knowing how to be around people and to take care of them. And I don't have any kids of my own, so it's even stronger because I just want to like take care of everybody, you know?
What I love about it for me on a selfish level is that it came across the coast. And I think I have found myself about like finding my own people in LA and like needing this sense of home. Because I don't have that here.
Yeah.
I have wonderful people in my life. But and in LA, but there is that sometimes missing component where I said, you know what I got to start doing once I get a bigger place or I use the common place mirror, I'm going to start making a Sunday dinner once a month. And then invite my people and cook for them the way I'm feeling that missing component.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you message me,
when are you going to start this?
You'll be the first to know. And when you message me and said that, you know, I have Italian, my name is Tara. I think you told me, and I was like, I'll be right over. Because it's like, it instantly was like, oh, I missed this. And we naturally, doesn't happen all the time, but you can organically grow with someone. Like I texted her 2 weeks ago, I'm like, you're never going to believe what's happening to me right now, right? Like, and I had to, you know, like it was a personal win. And I'm like, you know, people who are going to be like, I'm so happy for you. Or like, oh my God. And, you know, but you need that like sense of home. So because your parents are here now, which is wild, I don't think they probably ever thought they would have been in California.
No way.
No,
Yeah.
right? Like
It took
before
a
they
disaster
did.
to get them here, honestly.
Okay.
But they're here.
Right, they're here now. Do they love it?
No.
No.
No, they don't, not
Did
at
they
all.
live near
Because
you?
I moved my mother. My mother lives in the Bronx her whole life. Bronx. She's so Bronx. Her email's Bronx. Everything's Bronx. Debbie Bronx. We get it. She went to Bronxville, right? Which is like literally 10 minutes north in Westchester County.
Maybe 10
and
minutes?
she's like, you've taken me out of my I have no one. I can't do anything. I am lost. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
and that now she tells me,
You're
well,
like,
if
you
you go
can
to
walk back
California
home.
full time, I guess I'll just have to come every 2 weeks. I'm like, you don't leave you don't go to throw the garbage out. You're gonna come to the West Coast now. I don't believe you, Debbie. You're a liar. But
Does she come?
no. She says she's gonna if I really fully commit to LA. So we'll see. She's not. She's probably tired of hearing from me anyway. You got them to come here, which is a whole other thing. What got you here? Because I know, because you told me this story personally. Would you have ever thought?
Not only would I have never thought, but I denied even I wouldn't even consider it. I was so anti LA. Like I was so New York. I'm such a New Yorker. And you know how we are as New Yorkers. It's like LA, like you think everybody is some kind of way that this thing that you have in your head.
Yeah.
And there is an element of truth to that. I mean, it does exist, the thing that we have in our head. But also this other thing exists where, I mean, I guess it's LA's ever changing, right?
Yes.
So, yes. So I got here because my man had to live in LA because he works post-production for film. And I knew that when I met him, and I continued dating him anyway. Got him to stay in New York for like a year longer than he intended to, but then he had to come here. So he came here, and we were doing this long distance thing, and I was like, I need to make a decision. I either need to
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, end this, or just like move out there, figure out if I hate it as much as I think I hate it, and then move home, and then break up with him and move home, or just I didn't know what to do, you know. So I came out here and I hated it. I did. I hated it in the beginning. It was hard. I happened to get a job that I loved, so that was very helpful. I worked in a really amazing restaurant.
Okay.
Where we had 3 locations, and then I opened a 4th one with them, and I was the culinary director, so I was
Overseeing all 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was also life-changing because I learned about business more than just about a kitchen.
Yeah.
So it was really important for me to have that experience. I met some of the most amazing kitchen people. I mean, there are people in my kitchen now who I met the first day I came to LA and was terrified because I was like a woman. Here are these people that have worked together for like years and years. And I come in, they don't know who I am, and I'm a woman, you know, and I'm from New York. And it's very unfamiliar to everybody, but
Including you.
including me.
Yeah.
And I was scared and intimidated. But a couple of the guys in the kitchen, I'll never forget. I mean, they just made me feel so comfortable, immediately made me feel safe. And those people are still in my kitchen to this day. Like my
that.
kitchen it's 15 years deep, even though the restaurant's only 7 years old. So, but yeah, I hated it in this city because I kept comparing it to New York. So I kept saying, well, in New York, we do this. And in New York, we have this. And in New York, and New York, and New York. And so for the first 2 years, I was like, this place is like frustrating, you know, but like, I can't believe I'm still here. But then I realized it is a completely different place. Why are you comparing it to New York? Just because that's really all I knew. I knew New York and Rome. Those are the only places I ever lived.
Right, we aren't.
And New York is like, in a very weird way, because I'm sure people will argue this, but in a weird way, New York is very similar to Rome, minus all the history, but like as far as the attitude of the people. And that's just not true here. It's just completely different. So I was like, if I stop comparing it to this place that it is nothing like, maybe it'll be a better experience. And immediately it was a better experience once I stopped doing that. So
I had Billy Gardell on the podcast from Mike and Molly, and he said that his wife gave him this advice, and it was the church I needed that day, and it seems like the word you needed. And for those of you listening, he said, grow where you're planted. And it's like you got to stop, you know, focusing on whatever the negative is, and this is where you are, and it's just kind of what you had to do.
Yeah, I had to figure that out though, because I just didn't know how to do that.
We also, it's so funny, it's like we get so, like my friend couldn't wait to leave the Bronx. I can't wait to leave the Bronx. I can't wait to leave the Bronx. And then like she went to New Rochelle, again, somebody who didn't go far, and she's like, I missed the Bronx. And I'm like, I just think we just know what we know.
Yeah.
And being uncomfortable and making, even if you want to improve your life and you make an improvement or a change, it's just the unfamiliar.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard, which is why it's like when you were done with photography, you went and studied culinary in Rome?
No, I went to Rome because I wanted to learn about the food in the place, the food that I loved.
Okay. So how long were you there?
A little less than a year.
Okay.
But I went there all the time because I have family there still. So from New York, it was so much easier. I used to go there like sometimes twice a year, every year, my whole life. And it's a little harder from here because it's so much further away. But I just wanted to have the experience in the place that I felt like was, to me, the most influential and important place in the world. That's, you know, so
I was just there in October. I love it.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
So I just went and I tried to get a job in a kitchen. The only experience that I had really had was working privately in people's homes, though, right? So I went to all of these restaurants, and also like my Italian. I don't speak Italian,
Right.
just enough
Little
to get by.
component there.
Yeah,
Don't speak the language.
But I mean, I've had plenty of people that I work with that don't speak English, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
in my experience, I'm like, well, what's
Good
the big deal?
for you.
Let
Yeah.
me just, try. But to place, and I only went to the vegetarian. There was like maybe 5 at that time vegetarian restaurants or vegan 1 or 2 in Rome. I went to all of them and got rejected by all of them. And then this one guy, like one of the cooks, was outside smoking a cigarette, and he was like, like frustrated with me.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
he doesn't even know who I am.
yeah.
He's, but what are you trying to do? Like he spoke English, right? So he's like, but what are you trying to do? I don't understand. Like he was like annoyed that I was even there, and I was like, what do you mean? Like I just want to have I want to get experience working in a kitchen in Rome. And he was like, I understand, but like no one's ever going to hire you. You're a woman.
So it was like a light bulb went off.
Yeah, because I was like,
That's why you
whoa,
weren't getting a
that's
job.
the reason why I'm not getting hired. Not because I have no experience, not because I don't speak Italian, but because I am a woman. That's my problem. I'm a woman.
I mean, it's all of our problems.
Wow.
How long ago
Wow.
was this?
That was 2000.
So it was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
In Rome.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 or 2005, I think it was. And that was, I am so glad that guy said that out loud. Even though that sounds jarring and it sounds rude and it sounds unprofessional and it sounds all the things that it sounds to us, because
Right.
it is all those things, but it's also honest. And he made me realize that like, oh, so that's the thing that I have to overcome. Not that I can overcome being a woman. I am very much a
I'd
woman.
love
but
to overcome being a woman, to be very honest with you. I'm over it. I am over it.
But that was the focus, not if I had experience, not what language I spoke, not anything else.
It also, like anything else, when you're trying to pursue something and get constant rejection, makes you think it's because I'm not good enough at things you think you can control.
Right.
So I think having the elimination of this being something you can't control is almost like a weight that's lifted.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't change this.
totally. And like as a New York woman, I didn't grow up thinking I couldn't do things because I was a woman. But in fact, being a chef is a predominantly male job. That's changing a lot over the years, thank God. But it is mostly men in the kitchen. It's a rough place to work. It's high stress. It's hot as hell. There's a lot of shit talking. You have to love all of those things to be able to be a woman and even coexist with people in a kitchen, let alone be the boss of them in the kitchen, right? I love all of those things.
She
I have
holds
to be
the
honest.
big knife.
But I love the chaos. I love it.
I was going to ask you if
I
you
love
love
the
chaos.
rudeness of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love all of the cruelty of being in the kitchen. I love all of it.
Like you have to love that. Like I thrive in certain things. Like whether it's on set or at a comedy club, I'm like, okay, I'm better. Like I'm here. You know, like
Yeah.
So you hear that you're a woman. Do you leave Rome then?
No, I loved living in Rome.
Okay, so you stayed.
I stayed for a while longer, but then of course I eventually went back, and also couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I went back to doing photography and photoshopping. I was doing like digital stuff, which I wasn't even good at because I'm not good at computer stuff. But I'm the kind of person that's like, I have to take care of myself. There's no, I don't depend on other people to do that for me. So you have to do what you have to do. And I went back to shooting weddings, and I was not happy. I mean, it was not a happy place. And I remember even when I went to that restaurant and got hired, and I remember going back to the studio, the photo studio, and explaining this to my boss, whose name I will not mention because he was not my favorite person. And he literally like laughed in my face, out loud, laughed in my face, and he was like, what do you think? You're just going to walk into a restaurant and become the chef? And I was like, well, no, I think I'm going to walk into a restaurant and get a lot of experience that you need in order to become a chef.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to be the chef tomorrow, but...
Actually, in a year and a half, I became the executive chef, right? Didn't you?
Yes.
I read. I did my homework.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that is what I think is going to happen. Secretly in
Right.
my subconscious
in my head.
brain.
And you know what? whether people want to call that delusion or not, or grand ideas of grandeur, you need to almost be delusional enough to believe in yourself to do things. If I looked at my career in a practical way, oh God, I'd have nothing.
Well, if you were practical, you wouldn't even be a professional comedian to begin with, because that's not practical.
But in anything big, opening the first all Italian vegan restaurant wine bar, like that's like, does this guy know?
Who knows? That was
Did
1,000
you
years
mail him
ago.
the book? I'd be like, signed Chef Punzone. But yeah, so that's, I mean, listen, it's a tribute. Is there anything in here? So like you took, what I loved about it is the like arancini. They were like, you're not reading anything on here that's like cauliflower, you're not reading out loud like the ingredients. It's like all rooted in Southern Italian dishes, and
yeah, it's all what it's supposed to be.
Which to me is like, it's just an Italian cookbook.
And people are like, oh, they come to the restaurant. Oh, well, what is the pasta made out of? Zucchini? And I'm like, it's pasta.
It's pasta.
Like, what do you mean? It's flour and water. Like,
Right.
what is the problem?
When I talked about it on the podcast, and I think I did a live from your thing, I'm like, pasta is vegan.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're specifically eating pasta that has egg in it,
Right.
Which there are certain kinds of like pappardelle, like normally is made with egg. Okay, I can make it without egg though.
Right.
Doesn't have to have. It's not a requirement. It's just a tradition. So sometimes you got to break those a little bit. Mm-hmm. But flour and water are two beautiful ingredients together. You can make a lot of things with those two ingredients.
Olive oil.
And olive oil, yeah, a little garlic.
Oh.
Just to go back to what I was referencing in the very beginning of our conversation is that, so my parents freaked out when I became fully vegan and everything, and they were kind of like, okay, you have to be in the kitchen with us, and like we got to figure this out. And what I learned though is that the idea that Italian food is all meat and cheese is just absolutely wrong. My grandmother was from Calabria. Calabria is a poor part of Italy. Mm-hmm. It's all the way down south, just before you get to Sicily. Mm-hmm. They didn't have any money. Animals were very expensive. The cuisine was mostly beans, potatoes, whatever locally grown vegetables there were, and pasta without eggs, and a lot of the things that like pasta fazool and
pasta badan.
Yeah, and scatolon beans. And like these kinds of things that were my favorite things in the world growing up, long before I even knew the word vegan, they were vegan. Mm-hmm. These were vegan dishes. I didn't change anything. The recipes in that book, not that my grandmother ever wrote anything down, but it's exactly the way she made it. I didn't change anything. And I think that that's so important to stress, because it's just truly the dish that it's meant to be. I'm not altering it in any way.
No, I mean, I grew up on pasta peas and, pasta badan, which is pasta and potatoes. It's like a poor man's dish. But that's my great-grandparents, who we literally lived, I stayed with them as a kid, lived through the Depression.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the meals my grandmother made were because of lack of funds.
Exactly.
But they're the meals that, like, I feel the richest when I eat, because it's like,
I mean, pasta and potatoes.
I mean,
can you take two more amazing things and put them together into one bowl?
Yes. I also love that you said pasta fazool.
Pasta fazool.
Yeah. And scatol. What I love so much is, like, I hear the New York Italian, but it's like not obnoxious. And I think it's like, you sound like you came from, like, sometimes these people speak and you're like, oh, please don't associate me with the way this person sounds, whether the stupid sauce or gravy debate and all that other stuff. But it's like, you are a chef, like everything. It's like your family history. It's like, it's everything you say and do comes with this like sense of nostalgia and authenticity that is like home.
Yes.
So it's like you came to West Hollywood or came to LA and you made a home. Same way your grandparents migrated from another country and then they made their home in a hero shop. It's like, oh my God. It's like,
that's like a really beautiful way of putting it, actually. Yeah. I never really thought about it that way before, but that's
You ever thought about your own life the way I just said it on Cawfee Talk? I'm having a personal moment.
No.
Yeah.
What I often think about is like that they came here from southern Italy, from their poor, difficult lives, came here, made themselves super uncomfortable in a place that they'd never been in before, just so that they could provide a better life for their family. And all I ever think about is moving back to Italy. like in a dream world, I live there.
Right. It's so funny. I was just in Sicily, in my grandparents' town called Forza de Gro, and I like looked out on this like hill and saw like the Ionian Sea, and it's just drop dead gorgeous. And I'm like, they saw this and we're like, the Bronx.
Yeah,
we're gonna go. We're going to the Bronx. And
to make our life better.
Right, to make our life better. And it did. And it made it enriched the life. I mean, the life I have now, the opportunities I have now. I mean,
of
to
course.
think that you own a restaurant, author, it's like it's like, sometimes we're in the weeds so much we don't stop and think what we've accomplished. But if you think back, and I say this as a tribute to Italian Americans and all immigrants who came to this country for a better life for them and their children, but it's like in only 2 decades, only 2 generations, leaps and bounds we've come.
God, yeah. I mean,
like you are the American dream for them.
You're going to make me well up over here.
Yeah, let's cry. Let's cry. Let's do all the tears on Cawfee Talk. But just think about that. Just the next generation, 2 generations over. This is like...
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
And the thing, too, that I feel so passionate about is that, like, so we're of the same generation, and we're very similar in a lot of ways. But my fear is that maybe we might be the last of that connection. Yeah. Because I think that for example, like my nephews... They grew up the same way I did, but they're, younger than me, and it's not the same connection. They don't feel connected to the heritage in the way that maybe I'm just super old fashioned, but like, I don't think they felt that connection in that way,
100% it's not.
And so their kids are eating like,
well, there's no more.
I don't know, whatever, bologna and ketchup sandwiches. And I'm like, that's what? Where are we right now? What's happening? Like, I wasn't allowed to eat things like that.
Me neither.
I never had mac and cheese out of a box.
I was dying for certain things. I was like, but I really want to try Lunchables. My mother's like, no, you don't. You don't want that. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't want my ricotta on Terranova bread sandwich for in school. But now I look at it and I go, thank God I had that.
Yeah. And
to connect what you said to why I even have a podcast or a platform is because I got super nostalgic one day. And said, and probably how you found me, I said, these are words and phrases I heard growing up in my New York Italian neighborhood. Shot off a bunch of words, literally only because I was like, these are expiring with my generation. I don't know anybody.
That was the first time I saw you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love her. I love her so much. I felt so connected to everything you were saying. I was like, I felt like I knew you already.
And I didn't understand the value in that because I was so limited in my thinking that I was like stand-up comedy. I wasn't thinking about relatability or nostalgia or how important it was to have, like, people come over to me now and they're like, thank you for representing us the way that you do. Thank you for talking about the things that you do or doing it in the way that you do it. And so for me now, and we've had this conversation so many times on the podcast, but like the Sunday dinners with all your cousins and who your first friends and this, in the kitchen and all the food and like that it's like,
I know.
We don't have that. Like, I love that your parents come to the restaurant on Sunday, but there's still this element of like, we're missing the component. There's sports and, not sports we watch on TV because that happened every Sunday, especially if it was football. But like these kids have all these practices and they can't take their time away. And there's no real sense of like this, be with your grandparents and your parents and have this like
connection.
I mean, my cousins would come from New Jersey. They'd have to cross a bridge every Sunday to sit in my great-grandmother's basement.
But
great-grandparents. Like how I say great-grandmother because she was the heart of the home and the matriarch. My great-grandfather was very stern. But loving in his own way.
But aren't those the best memories?
The best memories.
Just the best.
We were talking about this the other day.
I think it's why people get sad around the holidays now because there's just this missing component.
I totally get sad around the holidays. Thank God I still have my parents, with me because I'm very grateful. I mean,
Yes.
other people in my family didn't live to their 80s. So
I know.
I think
I'm very
part
grateful.
of this is pre-digital too. Like there's pre-digital, and then there's also, but I think there's other, like I know a lot of Mexican friends of mine have that experience.
It's a cultural thing.
Well, it's
Mexicans and
also
Italians are
generational.
basically
It's
the
like-
same.
It's like once
Yeah.
you get
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
generations
Is your
out,
what's your boyfriend? He's not Ecuador.
He's Canadian.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was
He's Filipino.
Filipino. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, but he's Canadian.
And you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
we talked about like growing up, we had a very ethnic I did, you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that is an advantage of now. My parents used to make me salami and provolone sandwiches when I was in class, and like that, you could smell that lunch bag from like around the corner.
Yes.
I remember I was like, "Mom, you can't make me salami sandwich," because by the time you eat lunch, it's like warming and
Stinky.
wafting,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
And
See, I never even ate stuff like that, even when I was a kid. Like, because
"Well, you're vegan."
But
No.
well, not when I was a little
Yeah.
kid. Like when my mom was making me lunch. But I have a very, very strong sense of smell, and
Me
I
too.
never liked to eat those things because I'd be like, like, and also you can hold it up to the light and
Right.
see all the
it was
details.
in you.
It was just like not for
I
me.
am really I am funny with smells. Like I'll smell my food before I eat it.
Oh, you don't put anything in your mouth before you smell it.
It's
Anything.
like yeah. Heard that, ladies and gentlemen. No, but I do. I think that there is this missing component, and I've talked about it on the podcast, and it seems to be this common thread. And so what I love so much is if for the reasons you are, whether it's through animal rights and this innate feeling, or if people have to do it for dietary reasons, like people, your body changes. I just said, all of a sudden I've been eating walnuts and then they've been scratching my throat and I'm like, this is new. What is this? Is this an allergy? I got like a little nervous, but some people may need to completely restrict themselves of like dairy or meat or, they're, going through a different health, situation. So to me, it's like when you have that, food is so important.
It's the most important thing. People don't even realize.
And I remember Dom DeLuise had Eat This, It'll Make You Feel Better. And he did the movie Fatso where like
God.
everything was surrounded
Did
about.
you ever suck the jelly out of a jelly donut? So Dom DeLuise's son comes into my restaurant regularly.
I want to come.
And
I want to be.
I fangirl because I'll start quoting his father in front of him, which is totally embarrassing, by the way. And don't make fun of me, but like because you can't. That to me, he was my childhood hero. Dom DeLuise was
Dom
like,
DeLuise.
I just wanted to hug him every time I saw him.
But
He's so amazing.
The most. I mean, yes.
And his son is also hilarious.
Is he?
Yes.
You're talking about David, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
David.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. But like, yeah, Fatso to me and Bancroft. I mean, that was another super specific movie that like to me was like, oh my God, there are people that sound and look like me. I talk about Moonstruck all the time. I just talked about it with Adam. But
Moonstruck too. That's so true.
it's
Oh, I
like
love
these
that
movies
movie.
that make me go, oh. So, and like with food, Italians, a lot of people, but Italians specifically, we celebrate with it. We mourn with it. We have gatherings, we bring people, it's a community, we unite with it, we relate everything to it. Like food is so important. So if you're already feeling like you're having this like, existential crisis that your culture is dying, whether it's the language or the traditions, the Sunday dinners, and now you have to, or you choose to change your diet to being vegan, you're then now, I would have like one of those crises where like I'm eliminating something else from my culture, from who I am, but you don't have to do that.
But that's literally why I was like, I don't want to choose between not eating animals and my old-fashioned, hang up on my culture and my traditions. I want to have both things. So how do I have both things? I have to figure it out because nobody really had figured it out yet, And it took years, cheese being the biggest issue, obviously. But, once you figure something like that out, you have to share it with everybody because other people need to know that it's possible.
Which is why I wanted you on the pod so much. You've found the way. You've succeeded at doing it. I am so proud to call you my friend. This book is incredible. I love the pictures and the stories, and it's like an easy read that like it's it really, you get a sense of who you are, and it like represents where I came from, and I loved it. I love the recipes. I am gonna try to make some of the stuff that I never thought I would try and make, and I'll video that, and we'll see how that goes. But you really,
Oh my God, we should make something together. That would be really fun.
that'd be great. Yeah. See, it'll make me uncomfortable. But a beginner at everything is an expert at something was always once a beginner, or something like how that quote goes. But you've wildly succeeded in doing that and in bringing like representing our culture. Thank you. Like when people say thank you to me, sometimes I go, "What are you talking about?" Like thank you, thank you, because it's so important. You use the words that I use, and you're just so successful at like really representing. This is guys. Try go to. You say it better than me.
Pura vita.
Punzone.
With a T, not a D.
I know, because Pura Vita.
Because now there's this other place that's
like,
screwing up my
what's that,
whole.
Like is that like
Pura Vita? I mean, it comes from Costa Rica. But it's there's another place with that name that started in Miami, and now they opened in West Hollywood, and everybody's getting confused. It's very annoying.
No. Okay. So it's PURAVITA. T for Tara. For Tara.
And for the two Taras.
For the two Taras. Your restaurant's open 7 days a week?
Yes. We're closed for lunch on Mondays because I'm a obsessively clean person, and we do a deep clean every Monday. So
oh, wow.
But we're open for dinner 7 days a week and lunch all the other days.
Food is excellent. I mean, excellent. I had friends who are probably, can you say hi to Erin? She's like a huge fan. Just
hi, Erin. Who's Erin?
Erin is my friend Mario's wife, and she's like Billy Gardell and Tara Punzone on my show. This girl is probably like dying. She was a Mike and Molly fan. She came to LA with her husband. They went to your restaurant twice. Then they got the cookbooks. They were like having personal moments. So
I love that so much.
I wanted you to shout it out, guys. Thank you for listening to Cawfee Talk today. I love it when I can bring a real one on the podcast, somebody I know that you're really going to relate to, and bring it back to our old school traditions. I love you guys so much. Tara, I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much
and
for so many things.
No, and I'm going to be, all my shows are listed at tarajokes.com, and there will be more videos with me and Tara as I attempt cooking in a professional kitchen. Bye.
Cawfee Talk.